Thanks a million, everyone, and it really is great to see so many people here, to see this room packed, actually, and people standing at the back today on such a beautiful day, particularly on this issue. So thank you for all being here and to come out and show your support for an issue that I know is very close to all of our hearts, and Ireland's long-standing and proud tradition of military neutrality. So I'm delighted to be here, and with the many activists and groups and advocates that Sarah will mention as the day goes on, and it will be thanks to all of the activists' incredible work that we protect both neutrality and the triple lock from the unacceptable erosion planned by this current government. Thank you also to the Irish Neutrality League for bringing us all together, and I'm really delighted to be part of this clear demonstration of cross-party support across the opposition in both houses of the Oireachtas in favour of Irish neutrality and against any move towards militarisation, violence and war. We already know the people of Ireland support our campaign by margins as high as 4 out of every 5 people in the South. And I hope that what today shows is the level of political and popular support for neutrality that is out there, and the real minority that for those who are proposing these changes actually represent. Their vision for the future of Ireland, where we align more closely with NATO, contribute to the European army, participate in the global arms trade, and all with less oversight from the UN, the Cabinet or the Oireachtas, is not our vision. Today we reject the vision and instead choose a path of peace, where disputes are settled through discussion, mediation and diplomacy, and we can spare innocent civilians the world over from the scourge of war. We all have our own story as to why we support neutrality, and for me, neutrality represents a commitment to peace, independence and moral integrity. Neutrality ensures us that Ireland can uphold its sovereignty and make independent decisions without external pressures. This is essential for preserving Ireland's identity as a peaceful nation dedicated to diplomacy and human rights. And we all know from reading the news and from speaking to our friends and families at home and abroad the dire situation we are in. We know and feel that we're at a turning point in human history. As violence, war, death and destruction play out in so many parts of the world, it's easy to feel powerless and without hope, and that's why today is so important. Military neutrality and the triple lock especially is Ireland's guarantee to our people and to the world that international law matters, that might is not always right, and that peace can and will prevail. In uncertain times, as the very existence of international law is under threat, Ireland has a responsibility to push back. Under the triple lock, Ireland made a commitment to the international community that our defence forces would never be deployed in an illegal war. And that's what the triple lock guarantees. Given what we are seeing play out on our televisions, our phones, on the news, how can we decide that now is the time to roll back on that commitment? It's absolutely staggering to think about it. For many of us, neutrality is political but also deeply personal. And I know everyone here that's going to be speaking with me this afternoon will have their own connection to this issue, and sometimes it goes back decades. It speaks to the importance of working together, of a cross-party and consensus-based approach where we can leave our baggage at the door and offer real, organised and sustained opposition in the Oireachtas to the changes to the triple lock proposed by this government. We know the change is coming, and quickly. The Defence Amendment Bill to abolish the triple lock is on the government's legislative programme for this spring, and we know that the activists gathered here will work tirelessly in their communities and on the streets. And it's up to us as public representatives to do the same across the Dáil and the Seanad and all committees. We also have a responsibility as those of us in the public eye to debate the issue based on the facts. If the government really intend to pursue these changes despite the clear opposition of the Irish people, they need to be held accountable. The triple lock arose from a public commitment that successive governments made to the people in EU integration referendum campaigns for decades, that Ireland would never be drawn against our will into participation in an EU army. When will we hear a minister admit that their plan is to break this promise? I have also now heard the Taoiseach on several occasions continue to make the misleading claim that Putin holds a veto at the Security Council over the deployment of the Irish Army. He states this inaccuracy despite the clear powers under Irish law and the UN Charter that are given to the General Assembly, where no country holds a veto to authorise military action where the Security Council fails to act using the Uniting for Peace resolution. Indeed, the government leaned heavily on Irish neutrality during the recent successful campaign for election to the Security Council. And what damage could this regressive move do to Ireland's reputation internationally, especially when our strong voice on Palestine is needed now more than ever? To look at what's happening in Gaza is to be faced with the worst acts imaginable. A horrific genocide committed with the vocal support and or silent complicity of Western governments. When we talk about abandoning neutrality, of Ireland becoming a major paying customer in the global arms trade, where will those weapons come from? That's the question we must ask today. The same American, British and European weaponry now being used to wreak such devastation on the Palestinian people, tested for their effectiveness amidst active ethnic cleansing, and will be marketed, sold and shipped here to Ireland. It's outrageous. We have a long history at the UN as a leading advocate for international disarmament, particularly nuclear weapons, cluster bombs, and specifically the use of highly explosive weapons in heavily populated areas. So any move towards an Ireland which aligns closer with NATO or European arms manufacturers and rejects our proud and successful record on disarmament at a time when the global arms trade reaches new heights must be rejected, out of hand, and is the reason why we're all here today. So I'm really glad to be here today, to have this chance to speak today on the importance of Irish neutrality. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to preserve a cornerstone of our foreign policy, one that we rightly take huge pride in. And it's up to us here and now to continue a rich tradition rooted in our history as a colonised island that rejects militarism and imperialism and instead chooses peace.
Like, share, and subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.